go to Elliott Wilson. Is taking shots again. Elliott Wilson of, famed kind of hip hop journalist who's had a quite lengthy career from the early 90s to now. He's been kind of on quite a tear over this past year, trying to keep his name a buzz in hip hop news and industry beefs and whatnot. And like he's interjected himself a lot more than you had ever seen him before in journalists in general, I believe should. But he is at it yet again. He took some shots at Camron. Why? I don't know. Let's check it out.
Elliott Wilson.
Happy New Year, Elliott.
Nah, Elliott, go home.
What?
Yeah, Elliott, you my man. But Elliott, you sound nuts. I be sounding nuts too, but I be sober when I sound nuts.
They're killing you right now for that Beyonce tape.
I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Okay. So I just watching him on podcast and him discussing how he feels about other people in entertainment trying to flip over to becoming podcasters and being in media, and it just sounded like a drunk thought. And I'm just starting to watch Elliott on a lot of different spots. It looked like I don't know if is Elliott going through something?
I'm not sure.
I mean, we're all going through something.
Yeah, but we all handle what we go through differently. Is he going through something? Because it seemed like every pod he's doing, he's either a little tipsy or he's just having these weird takes or he's expressing it in weird ways.
Okay.
Like anger.
I mean, I'll clear this up. He's spiraling. He is finding himself in a very weird position where his word is no longer holds the same clout, the same authority, the same respect as it once did when he was one of the pioneers of like hip hop journalism. When at a time when you wanted to hear about hip hop or talk about the inner workings of hip hop, you'd go grab a magazine. You'd read what he had to write. He'd have exclusive access to all these people, but those days are long gone. He's seeing streamers. He's seeing Kai Cenat. He's seeing Speed. He's seeing all these people who basically have not put in any of the work that he had to put in to get access in the industry, get these exclusive interviews, this exclusive sit downs, this exclusive access to people in the industry that he seemingly can no longer get. And he hates it. It's clearly eating him up inside. And that is the simplest answer for why he seems to be spiraling out of control right now. His ego is destroying him.
Angry. Like,
and what was the take that he had?
Personally going about Cam, his take was he didn't like the fact that he thought Cam was trying to now be the new Stephen A. Smith, or the fact that he's just in this space and he don't appreciate people in the music business trying to transfer over to being personalities or podcasters. He feel like they're taking his spot. But it's like
his spot, again, his ego is insane. Yes, at one point you were very respected as a journalist and as a voice in hip hop. But let's be real, that field wasn't super deep. And the entry of barrier for a lot of people was very high. They just were not letting a lot of people access. They were not letting people voice their opinion on those type of platforms. So the fact that you had that position, held that position down for so long, and let's be real, probably gate kept that position for so long, is proof that things needed to change. And the fact that you're calling this his spot is crazy. That's a crazy thing to say. There's a reason why people are going to these personalities that were former rappers, former musicians, were actually part of the industry, that are not outsiders, that were literally living the exact moments that you were talking about. Is because why would I go to a third person source when the first person source is telling me stories straight from his mouth, straight from his recollection, has these relationships that you just don't, that has the insight that you just don't and never will, because you were not an artist in the industry. Why go to a middleman when you can go straight to the source? That's basically what's happening. And there's a reason why he is struggling, because he has not found a way to pivot. Other people have found a way to pivot, clearly, and you're mad that they are doing it and having success.
Like, Elliott, you've been doing this for how long? Like, your spot is solidified.
So, but what if he genuinely feels that way? Like, why he has to be a drunk?
Well, that would be a really interesting take to have, considering that he comes up on this podcast quite a bit, because Joe was a musical artist.
Yeah.
And then became the Podfather. after like, you know.
And in the podcast that you're doing, you're
I'm gonna be real. I don't really like what Melissa had to be saying a lot of times, but she just spoke straight facts there. Like, you have problems with all of these other people podcasting, discussing, having interviews, doing things that you used to do, and yet you go on these platforms yourself. You go on Joe Budden podcast, you buddy with them. You do not realize Joe Budden himself was a rapper, and he basically broke through podcasting. Like, this is the biggest thing he's done in his career. Keep that same energy, my guy.
getting these podcasts, these thoughts and these opinions off on the very people that you think you're better than in the space. So it's like, why not just do that in your own time and space?
Didn't he use like a couple of other examples besides just the one that he used? Like, I feel like he also used Summer Walker as an example.
Yeah. But these are people who are natural. Well, Summer Walker is an introvert. Mm-hmm. So for her to have the platform to go ahead and show her personality, that benefits her. Mm-hmm. Like, that makes sense for her to create that platform to where people can get to know her on a different level instead of her having to now be interviewed. That makes sense. I think he's talking about other people, like, let's just say, like Nori, Joe, or Cam, Mace. Mm-hmm. Like, why do you get to go from being artists and then come to this realm of entertainment?
But why do you got to be?
And then also being like Camron trying to be Stephen A. Smith is fucking crazy, because Camron, if I remember correctly, was an All-American basketball player who could have went D1, who speaks about raps and is involved in sports and pretty much his entire music career. If you listen to anything in his music career, most of his references have to do with sports. So he clearly knows sports. Did he feel the same way when Lil Wayne started popping up on First Take and the Skip Bayless show when he was on Fox? Like, did he feel some type of way then? Like, I don't understand. Like, why is it okay for Stephen A. Smith and other people to talk about hip hop and things that are happening in music, but then like musicians cannot go and talk about what things are happening in other spots and other positions? Other than the fact that people no longer are looking to hear from you yourself. I mean, that's the only reason I think of, because people are no longer looking for Elliott Wilson's opinion about things. Because, again, why listen to a middleman or a third person when I can go directly to the source? Don't be mad because artists figured this shit out themselves. They figure out how to make their own money, to build their own brand, and not have to be tied down to a label or other people telling their stories for them. I'm all for it. I think there's entirely too many podcasts and entirely too many people speaking and being open about certain things, but I'm not mad at it, because why not control things, control your own story, control your own destiny and trajectory of your career yourself? Why leave it up to a middleman like Elliott fucking Wilson?
You don't gotta be pigeonholed. Like, people are multifaceted. People have multiple talents. So if it's like saying Andre 3000 can't do the Flute album, that quote unquote instrumentalist.
Kanye West couldn't do, whatever he did with 808 and Heartbreaks. Lil Wayne could do his rock album. Like, what are we talking about? Like what? People cross over and things all the time.
Should be tight.
Or that would be like someone in sports being mad about Tom Brady getting a broadcast gig or whoever.
Yeah, exactly. Like a journalist.
I don't see the issue.
He said it was different, though. He did say that with athletes transferring over, it's a little different.
Because they speak the language. They played the game, so then they're the ones who are they're legit to take up the role of speaking as a sports commentator.
That seems like the exact same. That seems like apples to apples to me.
Here's the thing with me. I feel
like Stephen A. Smith did not play the game. Just because you were a journalist and you were around the game and you spoke about the game for so long, you kind of built up your own language and knowledge of the game just from putting in the work. That does not mean you have more knowledge than somebody that actually played the game or who was even involved in the game. Like, I don't see a difference between Stephen A. Smith becoming a sports journalist and becoming like this face of sports commentary than Camron doing it himself. Camron actually played at a higher level than Stephen A. Smith did. So if anything, I think he has a better shot at talking about sports than Steven. It's just a weird thing he's kind of hitting on. And it's just his ego and his fragility showing at a degree that is kind of sad to see, bro.
I feel like when the rappers turn
Speaking to the mic, sir.
I am.
You can't talk. We can't.
A little far.
You're a little far.
Really? I mean,
those headphones right behind you.
I feel like the rappers turn podcasters. They invest a lot of money into the podcast game. I'm sorry, like they go above and beyond to give the audience something great to digest. Like we can't look at all the shit that Cam has done. Cam has created his own sports show. He invested money to do so. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's amazing, it's beautiful, and he figured a way how to get it. Same thing with Joe. Look at what Joe has done. You know what I mean? All the work he has put in, all the like when rappers come into this space and they speak, the audience are likely to listen to them more than a regular broadcaster.
Facts.
Yeah, you come in with a fan base
Exactly.
already. You don't
and
have
on
to
top of that,
have one.
and other artists is quicker to respond to a rapper turned podcaster than just a podcaster.
I just hate seeing someone like Elliott feel threatened by people coming into the game now and feeling like they're gonna take away some of his spot. Like he first off, Elliott is amazing.
Yeah,
What he
Questionable.
he's a legend at what he does.
Questionable.
He should never feel like at any time anybody coming into this space, new or old or whatever, is going to be able to take away interviews from him or
They already have.
move him from the spot that he's already solidified.
It can still thin out your.
His legacy is there, but in terms of interviews that people are checking for, that people want, that people are like looking for people to have, they ain't looking for no Elliott Wilson interview no more. They see the hate. They smell that shit. Artists smell that shit. Why would I go to somebody like him, who's clearly a hater and wants to interject himself far too much in the culture and things that are happening, versus somebody who's actually a part of the culture, who's an artist, who understands me at a deeper level, who understands how an artist's minds work? Why would I go to him? Why would I go to Elliott Wilson over somebody like that? It just don't make sense. It just don't make sense. He had his time. Time is up.
Value.
But they might take it away, but so what, nigga? Like Elliott has his time.
He's really mad because he never found a way to pivot. Bro, you've been a journalist, you've been a interviewer, you've been a commentator for this long, and you haven't built something for yourself? No. This whole time you've had to rely on magazines, on deals, on other people giving you platforms, building platforms for you to comment on, to give you a space, to be the figurehead, to be the spokesperson for, but you haven't built anything yourself. So if anything, you should be mad at yourself because you had all this head start, you had this clout, you had this background, you had the repertoire, you've had everything, you've had the contacts, you've had everything you needed to build your own platform, to build your own brand, to build your own position in the game that cannot be affected by anything else. But did you? No. And now that you don't have your own thing and you've only had to rely on other people doing things for you and setting things up for you, shit's looking a little scary. Shit is looking a little scary. That's on you.
The legend, people still respect Elliott, and Elliott should just respect the game, man. Like, how long would you be at that spot for? How long would you want to be at that spot for? A lot of times they complain the same thing pertaining to DJs and a lot of other people. How long do you want to hold that spot for?
Some people that's all they do, and they don't have anything else to fall back on. Not saying Elliott, but some people want that spot because that's their comfort zone. The thing with Cam and Mace, or us, or anybody else for that matter, just because I'm known for X, that don't mean I'm not good at Y and Z. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Cam and Mace, just to use them as an example, or Joe, or anybody, Cam and Mace have a sports show, right?
Fire.
Dog, Cam and Mace play sports their whole fucking life.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference? Maybe they didn't play sports on an NBA level, you know what I'm saying? But that don't still mean that they can't be advocates of sports and be well engulfed in sports. Just because they didn't suit up and play on a professional level, that don't make Tom Brady more
knowledgeable?
Not knowledgeable, but validated in talking sports over Cam and Mace. You get what I'm saying? Like, I just think
I didn't understand why Elliott was even mad at them, because Cam and Mace doing a sports show takes nothing away from you at all. You don't do anything within sports. Your music, if anybody, you should be mad.
Keep it a buck. He ain't mad at them for doing a sports show. He's only mad at them for having success. He's mad at their success. He's mad that they have success. He's mad that they found another avenue in their career to have success. And he's mad and hates to see them getting praise and clout. Same way he probably is mad at Gilly and Wallow for what they're doing. They found a way to pivot and extend their careers and find another lane and like still be relevant when their music no longer is. And he is stuck. He's stuck and he hates it.
That Shannon is a sports guy who's now interviewing everybody, whether it be music, comedy, everything. That's the person you should have an issue with. So I was confused at why you pick Cam and Mace. I think niggas get
because he thought he was better than them. Let's be real. Like, because he was a hip hop journalist and a hip hop interviewer, and he was in hip hop and he was like covering the culture, and he was so well known. He had a superiority. He felt he had a superiority over your typical rapper. He looked at them just as rappers and nothing else. He's like, yeah, you make music. Yes, I cover you. Yes, you're a rapper, but I'm better than you because I'm a writer. I'm a journalist. I have this credential. I have this prestige about me that I'm not just a rapper. And the fact that they proved to him that they are not just rappers, it's forcing him to question his standing in the industry. He thought he was better than people. That's just a fact. If you listen to anything he's ever said, he literally thinks he's better than people. He thinks he's better than the people that he's covered. And the fact that they're proving to him that I can do what you're doing and have more success than you in a faster, shorter amount of time is eating him up.
Old and then just don't know how to move out the way.
No, I think they be devaluing people. They be devaluing people based on what they.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I love Elliott, but I'm just being honest. I think at a certain point, that older you get, you either decide you want to keep playing the game as a player or you decide to be a coach or an owner. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't made that transition over to coach and owner yet, and you still holding on to that jersey.
Literally what I just said, you did not build anything for yourself and now you're stuck. Now you're stuck. And now the owners, the coaches, whatever you want to say, the owners of things have moved on to other people. They see profit in other places. They see what these rappers are doing and they're going there. And you're mad.
You got to understand at certain points, niggas don't need you on the team like that no more. Like you start phasing out as a player. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is the time where Elliott should start phasing himself out in the player realm and become more of a coach or owner and not looking like you need to be the person doing the interview. How about go hire and go branch the young guy that you can now coach into being the new interviewer?
Too late. They've had success without somebody like that. Why do they need to go through Elliott? Why? It's been proven. You don't need that. It's too late. He fucked up.
But instead of you needing to be in front of the screen. Because you should never get to this point where you start hating on new niggas. Especially niggas that you honestly have a respect for. I know you respect Cam. Yeah. So that's why I was weird. Like, why would you do that?
I think he responded.
Okay, let's give him.
Yeah, there's a Cam response.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Brandon Marshall, Kevin Garnett, Matt Barnes, Dan Labatar, Nick on First Things First, especially Stephen A. Smith, Gillian Wallow, and Gilbert Arenas. I named them three last because they gave me and Murder some game about this business before we got into the business. The rest of you bitch ass niggas, I'm telling you right now, we here.
You know Cam gonna respond. That's one thing Cam is gonna do. He not gonna let you talk and speak his name out of turn. He gonna respond. I'm surprised Elliott ain't get a full freestyle from him.
We here. Y'all can make your motherfucking phone calls. You can think what I'm saying ain't true. I'm telling you now.
We the new source.
We the new source. Murder, Stat, and Killer are the new source. Y'all niggas scared and y'all moving funny. Ready. We camera ready. First of all, Murder made the slogan. We do it like we do it for TV.
Yeah.
All y'all analysts and niggas that's pissed off, we gonna make you real mad now because niggas gonna start hitting me with the information. I'm gonna make sure I call my friends up. And shout out to Draymond Green too, because I called Draymond early.
It's Summer League. We gonna be there every game.
Yeah.
It's facts. You look like a weasel, bro. You look like a weasel, and why would you do that? I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, way to play yourself. He's been looking corny. He's been moving corny. Everything he's been doing over the last couple of years has been corny as fuck. And like, this is just another nail in his coffin. I think his career has basically run its course. Appreciate you, man. Like, you definitely set things off. You kind of like, set a standard for a while, but times have changed and you ain't changed with it. And it's over. It's over for you.